What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with more recent sales on eBay for mint on card and packaged goods. And as you can see by the thumbnail, there was a Boba Fett that sold for $3,500. It looked really nice. A couple of prototype-related items, a proof card, as well as a Toy Fair sample laser pistol that was verified by CAS. So some pretty rare stuff here. I also have lots of Last 17 and Power of the Force figures that sold. And for some reason, this batch includes a lot of items down in Australia. Shout out to some of my viewers down there. I know that you guys also collect, and there were some really great items that sold on eBay, including one that I bought that I didn't include in this video for some reason, but we'll let you know how it turns out. It's my first mint on card for 2023, and it should be here in the next couple of weeks. Very excited about it, but let's go ahead and dig right in. We're going to start off with some die-cast. There was a mint on card Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. It had kind of a yellowed blister, but the card itself was in pretty fantastic condition. I love these die-cast. I hope to get some more die-cast here this year. This was probably about 80 condition. Again, the blister was a little bit yellowed, but it was in very good shape. No cracks that I could see in the photos. The card back was in great shape. This one sold for $256.50 plus $620 shipping. I thought that was a pretty great deal if you can live with the slight yellowing to the blister. Next up was an AFA 60 X-Wing fighter die-cast. This was on the Empire Strikes Back packaging. Tougher to find that one. Not super high grade or anything, but the blister looked to be nice and clear. Let's see if we can get a close-up of the label here. This is a 60, 80, 85. So two very high subscores. It's just the card itself was in pretty rough condition. But it still sold for $249.50. I thought that was a great deal for a fairly low-grade die-cast mint on card clear blister. That's a pretty good deal in my mind. Next up was a mint and sealed package Millennium Falcon. This is one I've got in my collection. It looked to be mint and sealed package. Now, just keep in mind, there was only 2 photos, so I'm only going on, on what was said on the auction, but it looked to be in really great shape. Would probably grade out about a 75 plus or an 80, I would think, minimum. It actually looks in better shape than mine, and mine graded CAS 80. This one sold for $329 on 29 bids plus $975 shipping. I thought that was a really great price overall. Next up was a qualified 80 grade, meaning that it's unused contents, but the seal is no longer factory sealed. And this is the MTV7 on the Empire Strikes Back packaging. So a mini rig on the ESB packaging, tougher to find. You can see the qualified grade there. Again, that just means that it's no longer factory sealed, but it has unused contents. Really awesome box art there with the Hoth Snowtroopers writing in their little MTV7. That one sold for $450 on one bid plus $1265 shipping, but beautiful item there. That's one that does not come up regularly for sale. Next up was an Imperial TIE Fighter pilot on the ESB packaging. It was advertised as unpunched, although the punch did have quite a bit of wear to it. You can see some creasing on that tab there. The blister was also slightly yellowed, but the card back itself was in great shape. Probably pretty easily a yellowed 80 score would be my guess for this one. It was listed for $400, $975 shipping. The best offer that was accepted was $375. So, a clear blister could probably set you back $500 to $600 pretty easily, ungraded, in the same condition. So I think for a yellowed blister in this kind of condition, $375 was a pretty good price. Next up was a 45 back Star Wars Display Arena Princess Leia Organa. The blister was slightly yellowed, and as you can see, there was some litho tears on the left-hand side of the card back, but really nice looking item. Probably would grade out at about a 70 only because of the litho tears there on that card back, but the blister itself was in great shape, fully factory sealed. Again, very light yellowing to the blister. That one sold for $456 plus $10 shipping, and that same seller had probably the best item of all the ones I'm covering in this video. It was an unpunched 48 back Boba Fett, and offer list 48 back, 48A. The blister looked to be pretty clear, and wow, what an incredible item, unpunched, and I knew it was going to go for big money. I was just curious as to how much. It did have one little spider vein, as you can see right there on the left-hand side on the back, but didn't really poke through to the back that much. It would probably grade out at a low 80, would be my guess, maybe a 75 plus at worst. But wow, what an incredible mint on card Boba Fett. Absolutely gorgeous. That one again sold for $3,500 on 45 bids. So lots of action on that one. That one closed on December 18th, plus $10 shipping. But wow, that blister was in pretty immaculate condition, nice and crystal clear. Congratulations, whoever picked that one up. This was an AFA 8047 back, free 4-LOM offer, C3PO with the removable limbs. Look how crystal clear that blister, as well as the inner tray. Both of them were crystal clear, absolutely gorgeous. And it did have some scuffing, below the SKU number on the top left-hand side. It was unpunched with a price sticker. But wow, what an incredible item. The card back got a 75, which seems pretty harsh, but the blister and the figure both got 85 scores. Archival case, so you knew it was going to sell for big money. I was thinking more like $850 to $900, but it blew past that number pretty easily. The final sales price was $1082 plus $20 shipping on 48 bids. So pretty incredible condition overall, though. And I guess I can see why it got the 75. It had some scuffing on the right-hand side, some edge wear as well. So probably appropriately scored. But, overall 80, I think, was probably the right call on that one. Pretty gorgeous item, though. Next up was an AFA 85 Lando Calrissian in a skiff guard disguise. This was a 79 back. This is one I've got in my collection with a crystal clear blister, but this one had yellowed since grading. So as you can see right here, the subscores were 85, 90, 85. Very high scores. And it does not say yellowed under the 85 overall. But as you can see very clearly, the blister has started to yellow. I'm sure mine will too. I mean, most of these U.S. Return of the Jedi Kenner card backs, those blisters are going to yellow. That's just a fact of it. Mine hasn't yet, but I do have an AFA 80 example that is also unpunched like this one, but has not started yellowing yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if it starts to happen over time. But pretty great condition. That one sold for 382 Australian dollars, which is 254 US dollars, plus another $66 if you were buying it here in the US. But I think that's probably pretty fair. I mean, if it was unpunched and still had the clear blister, it would probably double that price pretty easily, or pretty close to it. So pretty great looking item. Lots of Australian sales here recently, and most of these are Australian from here on out. Here was another one that same seller had. This was a Chief Chirpa, and it was also an AFA 85, but the blister on this one was still crystal clear. This one was the 65 back B. I think it's the B or the C. I can't remember. C. 65 back C with the Emperor, mail away Emperor offer. That was a beautiful item, though. Unpunched, no price sticker. That one sold for 347 US dollars or 521 Australian dollars plus shipping. This was a gorgeous tri-logo Stormtrooper, and it was graded AFA 80 with the archival case. The subscores were 85, 80, 85. And this is not one you see pop up very regularly. And usually it's kind of $900 to $1,000, but this one did sell for more than that. It was listed for $1,285 plus $18 shipping, and the best offer that was accepted was $1,130. $1,130 took that one home. But admittedly, this was one that I have not seen on eBay very regularly. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 this year, or over the last year or so. There was, I believe, a UKG 80% that sold for 900 euros. So about, let's call it 950 US dollars. So this AFA 80 was absolutely amazing, and it was in the US. And it did have the etched edges on the blister there, as you can see. But anyway, overall 80, but 285 subscores. Pretty tough to find a Stormtrooper on that tri-logo card back for that. And the price reflected that. $1,130 was the sales price on that. Now let's dig into some Power of the Force figures. And this seller, Lumat2, I have not bought from this seller before, so I'll let you know how it goes. But he did ship to the U.S., so I put a bid in on another item that he had listed for sale that I did pick up. And it's my first really big purchase of 2023. And it should be here as of the making of this video, probably in a couple weeks. So hopefully I'll have that to unbox and show you here soon. So I'll let you know how it goes. But he had a number of beautiful Power of the Force items. Mine was not Power of the Force, but this was a beautiful AFA 85 yellowed blister, EV99, Power of the Force card back, unpunched, pretty gorgeous. Obviously it had some yellowing, but that's pretty standard for these Power of the Force figures. But overall 85, 85, 90, 90 were the subscores. So you knew it was going to sell for big money, and it did. 1,282 Australian dollars or 850 US dollars. Now, luckily, this seller does not use the global shipping program, so the shipping to the US for a mint on card was $25.20. So that was really attractive to me, and I'm going to roll the dice. I hope it arrives here safely. I have bought from Australia before without too much issues, but you never know. These things are 40 to 45 years old, so I'm hoping that mine arrives safe and sound. I'm sweating bullets right now. We'll see how it gets here, but hopefully it arrives safe and sound. Next up was a Barada AFA Yellowed 80, also unpunched. That one sold for 719 Australian dollars or 479 US dollars. I mean, you know, an AFA loose graded example, AFA 85, can set you back $250 to $300 pretty easily. So to get this one mint on card, AFA 80 for $479 plus $25 shipping, that was a great buy. That was a really great buy. Next up was an AFA 80 Lumat, and this one was on the Kenner 79 back C with the free mail-away Anakin offer. It was punched, and it was listed as a clear blister on the AFA label, but as you can see, the blister has started to very slightly yellow, which is uncommon because these were produced down in the Lilly Letty factory, and usually those blisters stay crystal clear, but this one has got just a very slight tint of yellowing to it. Not a big deal. I would be perfectly happy having this one in my collection, but the subscores were 80, 85, 85, and it was an unpunched example. Beautiful Lumat, and again, that one sold for 500 Australian dollars or 333 US dollars. I thought that price was more than fair. And then likewise, another seller had this Power of the Force Lumat that had some edge wear. It was ungraded, but it had quite a bit of edge wear around the hang tab, obviously a yellowed blister. That one sold for 199 US dollars or 300 Australian dollars. I think that price is very fair, just given the condition issues, very slight condition issues. Same seller also had Pat Blue. He had all the Ewoks. We're going to go through all of them. This one as well also had a little bit of wear around the hang tab, some light scratching to the card back, sticker residue by the Star Wars Power of the Force logo. Pretty beautiful item. Some litho tears going down the right-hand side of the blister, but awfully pretty. Pat Blue, that one sold for 260 Australian dollars or 173 US dollars plus another $23 shipping. So let's call that about $200 shipped for a nice looking, probably 75 grade Pat Blue. And again, he had also Ramba. The Ramba was in great shape. It was unpunched with no price sticker, and you know, the blister was obviously yellowed again. But this Ramba sold for 295 Australian dollars or about 200 US plus shipping. And then finally, he also had Warwick. And the Warwick, again, was unpunched, great condition, very slight yellowing to the blister. That one sold for 356 Australian dollars or 237. So I think, you know, if you had some money, you could have bought all four last 17 Ewoks from the same seller, and all mint on card, and great prices for every single one of them. Next up was an AFA 85 unpunched Imperial Dignitary last 17, just very slight yellowing to the blister on that one. This is one that's really nice, even when it's yellowed blister, because of that purple background to the card back, it displays really nicely. And the price reflected that. It sold for 510 US dollars plus 11.25 shipping. I thought that was a really great price. I think we documented one at Hakes that sold for over $600, same grade. So I think that was a really great price for that one. Next up was an Ewok Combat Glider. This one was mint in sealed box and graded AFA 85. Here is the label on that one. 85 Near Mint Plus Ewok Glider, mint in sealed box. Beautiful example. That one sold for 636 Australian dollars or 424 US dollars plus another $66 shipping. So almost $500 for an AFA 85 MISB Ewok Combat Glider. Next up was a mint in sealed box Y-Wing fighter. This one was not graded, but it was mint in sealed box and in pretty great shape overall. Definitely AFA worthy, as is indicated there in the title to the auction. And that one sold for 700 Australian dollars or 466 US dollars. So pretty good price for a mint in sealed box Y-Wing. Beautiful example. Now we're going to dig into the last two, which are the kind of two very, very rare items. And the first one is the Return of the Jedi laser pistol. But what's unique about this one is that this was a Toy Fair sample. And it was labeled as a transition laser pistol. And on the label, it says hand-cut applied stickers, laser pistol, Toy Fair sample, ESB/Return of the Jedi transition. So this was kind of taking a Empire Strikes Back laser pistol, and it had hand-cut stickers that were applied to it. So pretty incredible item. And I guess they had the paperwork to verify that this was a Toy Fair sample. It was graded CAS 70, and it sold for big money, $1,226 US plus $30 shipping. So about $1,250 took that one home. And as you can see on the back, it had Empire Strikes Back logo, but on the front it had hand-cut stickers that showed that it was, shown as to what it would look like. You can see right there, Star Wars Return of the Jedi laser pistol, but it was a hand-cut sticker that was slapped on there. So pretty incredible item, and kind of a prototype salesman sample type of thing. And the price reflected that. I thought that was actually a pretty good price for a Toy Fair sample laser pistol that was verified by CAS. And then finally was a Return of the Jedi Lando Calrissian proof card. So this is not a Revenge of the Jedi. This Return of the Jedi proof card was graded AFA 80+, and I would argue that this is probably tougher to find than a Revenge of the Jedi Lando Calrissian proof card. And the price was $1,802, $1,802 on 30 bids. That closed on December 20th plus $30 shipping. So pretty incredible item, and it was an 80+, so that probably kept the price down just a little bit. It seems like with these high-end collectors that love these proof cards, they like to get 85 and above for proof cards. But I've got a 80+ AFA Cloud Car Pilot Revenge proof that that price stayed pretty low, and that was on Hakes. So I think that's a good kind of niche. If you're willing to live with an 80+ or an 80 grade proof card, you can often get it for a lot less. I would argue that if this was an 85 or higher grade, it probably would have sold closer to $3,000 or more. But again, I don't know these proof cards, especially Return of the Jedi proof cards. I don't know them very well. I don't know, much in the way of prices, but it does seem like the 80+ held that price down just a little bit. But nevertheless, a pretty incredible item, and congratulations whoever bought that one. Anyway, that's all I really had for this video. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll be back soon.